Hello and welcome to the Magic Mirror Podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Khan the Trinket Mage, and with me is my co-host, 3 Elk.
Hello.
Additionally, we have our other co-host, Salubrious Snail.
Hello, hello.
We have a pretty fun topic today. We're going to be talking about whether or not Casual Commander is a zero-sum game. We'll explain what we mean by that and break it down a little bit further. And then afterwards, we're going to answer some questions, if we have some time, from you, the audience. So if you want to hear all that, stick around. But first, happy Eid. You guys doing anything?
I am not.
Happy Eid. Sorry, I'm confused. What is this?
It's Eid,
It's Eid.
the holiday.
I don't know this holiday. Am I crazy?
Yeah, it's like the most important one in Islam.
Oh, well, I'm not Islamic and I'm American, which is a double whammy, which means I don't know what this holiday is.
Eid Mubarak and Assalamu Alaikum, or peace be with you. My name is Yusuf and I'm here to provide some quick information about Eid. In Islam, we have 2 Eids during our lunar calendar, and this Eid, Eid al-Adha, simply marks the end of the pilgrimage, or as we call it, Hajj, to Mecca over in Saudi Arabia. Eid is 3 days long, spent with family and community, often eating a lot of really delicious food, and this Eid in particular, we really focus on donating a portion of our wealth for food for the homeless and needy. Thanks. Back to the episode.
I'm just surprised you hadn't heard of it. It is right now. Because it moves, because it's like lunar calendar. This was meant to be a joke segment where you guys just said, I'm not doing anything for Eid. Yusuf is doing stuff for Eid, which is why this podcast might be a little delayed, because you'll be busy. I guess we'll leave that in. That was meant to be like a 1 second thing. I just didn't expect you to have not heard of it. This podcast is sponsored by Laughing Dragon. They're hosting an event over 4th of July weekend in Tacoma, which is near Seattle. It is Command Fest Tacoma. Yusuf will have the dates on screen, and you two will be there, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I also kind of like that Saturday falls on the 4th of July because Saturday is usually the busiest day. So I think it's going to be a little more evenly balanced between the days with this.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just excited to hang out with Joey and Alex again. I'm very excited though for because my two-headed giant cube. This gave me a huge jolt of excitement as well for the con. My two-headed giant cube is actually an event that you can sign up for at Laughing Dragon. Travis hooked me up. Travis is like, yo, do you want your cube to be an event? You can sign up to join my cube. It's only for 1 day, so get in while you can. Seats up to 16 people.
Unironically, this is why we like working with Laughing Dragon, is they let us do fun things like that. Like bring our own cube and set it up as an event you can sign up for. Like that's really cool. So Command Fest Tacoma obviously will be Commander focused because it's a Command Fest, but there will be other events like Elk's Cube, Secret Lair Sealed, all sorts of other like wacky, cool, limited events that you can do. So if you want to check that out, there's a link below to buy your tickets today. Hopefully, we'll see you there. Well, I won't be there, but hopefully they'll see you there. What is a zero-sum game? I have a definition here that I'll read out real quick. A zero-sum game is a mathematical representation in game theory and economic theory of a situation which involves 2 competing entities, where the result is an advantage for one side is an equivalent loss for the other. In other words, one player's gain is equivalent to player 2's loss, with the results that the net improvement of the benefit of the game is 0. And I grabbed a r/explain it like I'm 5 comments here to give a simple example. If 5 people bring $20 to a poker table and somebody wins at the end with $100, the total net gain of plus 100 is equal to the net loss of minus 100, or I guess plus 80 and minus 80. So it's a zero-sum game because the winner sort of took all the value. Everyone else lost an equivalent amount.
That is distributed between different players, or is it modulatable?
Bingo. Yes, because in Casual Commander, you're not playing for money like in poker. Your currency is, well, how much fun you're having in the game.
Yeah, your time.
Or time. We'll get into time as well. We're going to do both. So with that idea in place, well, just knee-jerk reaction, what are your initial thoughts to this? If someone is having more fun, do you think that you are having an equivalent amount of less fun?
It's a Turgid player who's having more fun because Turgid, both in like literally all your resources lost or their resources gained, because that's just the words on the card. And also the play pattern is the Turgid player gets to play all the magic. Nobody else gets to play any magic. So if it's a Turgid player having all the fun, yeah, I'm probably having less fun proportionately.
Yeah, that makes sense with Turgid and stuff. I feel like Kellen's kind of the same way too, because if I get like my prison lock,
Which Kellen?
Kellen Daring Traveler, my Selesnya deck that melds Brazello with Teague.
Right.
Like if I do that,
Not the card specifically, but your deck, right?
yes, like if someone melds Brazella, they are meaningfully making you have less less fun in a way. I don't know. In some regard, it's a funny hurdle to jump through, but in other ways, it's like, I don't know. You can kind of be robbing other people of agency, which is a good way to dampen fun. As someone who likes to also spectate games of Magic as well, I do not mind getting knocked out early or whatever, but there are certain people who do flare up at this sort of thing,
Yeah.
I think Stacks is a good place to start on this. And this is actually something I brought up in my Stacks video a year and a half ago that I want to run by you guys. So obviously Stacks means that your opponents are going to be playing less Magic. Does like snowbally midrange, where you draw progressively more cards and find progressively more removal spells and play progressively more threats and gradually decrease the amount of Magic your opponents are playing and increase the amount that you're playing to the point where it's inevitable that you'll win eventually, is that meaningfully different than Stacks in terms of the amount of fun that everybody at the table is having?
So mathematically, I would say yes, insofar as if you're building like a snowbally cascade deck, something that like all of your cards are 3 cards, you might be doing like 9 game actions per turn, whereas opponents might be doing 3 game actions per turn, versus like Stacks where it's kind of slows everyone down. You're maybe like ahead because you built your deck around the Stacks. You're doing like 3 and they're doing 1, right? But the issue is that Stacks, I think, meaningfully affects the ceiling of your opponent's decks. Whereas you being a cascade mid-rangey decks doesn't really actually touch your opponent's deck all that much. Instead, you're just having insane amounts of value because you're hitting your higher ceiling versus affecting your opponents, which is what Stacks is doing. So dynamically, it is very different, even if like mathematically, we kind of have the same ratio of things happening.
Yeah, definitely the way a lot of Stacks decks are constructed is a lot of times you want to hit a point where you are taking 2 game actions a turn and your opponents are taking 0. And although in theory, if you're taking, like you said, 9 game actions and your opponents are doing like 1 spell a turn normally, that in theory should be the same, but people don't treat it the same way. Although maybe they do, right? I've definitely heard this complaint from Travis, right? With his Simic Aloy deck. Stupid name for a character. Why isn't it Alloy? It should be Alloy, right? Anyway, with Aloy, he has like 100 triggers that happen. And sometimes he's just sitting there spending a lot of time going like, and this happens, and this happens, and then this happens, and then I discover, and everyone else just has to like wait and watch. I guess, I don't know, how different is that than Stacks in terms of consuming the fun / time of the table?
I think I was mentioning before the pod that I would rather play against hard Stacks than a deck that needs like 10-minute turns once it's up and going.
I agree. I think Stacks is so overblown in terms of like the unfunness of it, because a lot of times in practice the game ends pretty fast in the sense that you just go like draw, pass, draw, pass, draw, pass, and their turn is like draw, card, attack, pass. It's pretty simple and you kind of just move through the turns quickly. Whereas this is why Paradox Engine got banned. People remember playing during that time. Thrasios came out around the same time, and a lot of people built very bad Thrasios decks that had Paradox Engine in it. So they would spend 10 minutes untapping and tapping mana rocks and casting like small dinky cantrips, but they didn't ever win the game. And then you would pass, have a normal length turn, normal length turn, normal length turn, and then they would have another 20-minute turn, So it ate a lot of the time.
I think this is also one of the justifications I make to myself for my Malfegor deck and why it's different than a Turgid deck.
Okay.
Because Turgid deck, your opponents are probably going to be taking 20 to 30 second turns. Against my Malfegor deck, my opponents also might be taking 20 to 30 second turns if I'm in an ideal spot. But I'm going to be taking 45, 60 second turns. Whereas a Turgid player who has stolen all of your permanents with their bajillion triggers is likely going to be taking significantly longer turns, right?
I agree. I feel like, we've done this on the podcast before where none of us actually hate Stacks. And I agree that I think the time to fun ratio is more important, because even if my opponent isn't necessarily winning, I'm definitely having less fun when I have to just wait for them to tick a counter on every creature they have, or wait to discover 3, and then when they just take up time. It's not even a factor of me winning or not winning, because I'm just going to sit there and I'm like, okay, cool, on my turn I'm going to board wipe you, and it doesn't it doesn't matter that you're doing all this stuff. So it just feels like a huge waste of time.
Well, here's a question: what is fun in Commander?
And maybe we should have started with that.
Is it possible that some people find it fun enough to do the fiddly sort of game plan that it becomes worth it? right? And what's the breaking point?
Like a utilitarian argument.
Well, I was about to say, we're getting really utilitarian here with like the pleasure beast that like if you jump in its mouth and it eats you, it loves eating you way more than you hate dying. So it's actually utilitarian to jump in its mouth and get eaten, right? This logic puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the strict utilitarian question, but then there's also like, where is the cutoff point? Like, what ratio of like fiddling to turn length, game hog time, etc. At what point is there a breaking point where it stops being extra fun for the table?
There's oh man, I wish I knew I'm blanking on the name now. There's like a Warhammer podcast I listened to, and they I remember one of the guys saying like, look, if you're playing a casual game, and just remember that when your opponent rolls like insanely well, they just get like 5 6s or whatever, right? Even though that's a crushing moment for you, remember it's a hype moment for them. And there is like something to be said about like, if your opponent is like, oh, I'm finally doing the thing. My deck is, it almost never does this. I actually got the new card that I put in, or I drew it, like, is there a point where you should respect that and be like, hey, you know what? You put that new card in there. You finally drew it. You deserve to pop off.
I think legitimately Magic can be a zero-sum game and people can have better attitudes about it all at once. Where like, I feel like so frequently, especially in my older game store, whenever I would play a game of Magic and someone would just like explode the game and like have this like insane like aura moment where like their deck explodes and they're like, oh my gosh, I've never done this before. It would almost always be met with, well, great, I'm glad you had your fun, dude. Whatever, I'm scooping. Like, I don't know. Like there's always this like antagonistic sort of flair to it. Whereas I feel like, I don't know, like, yeah, you didn't get to do your thing one game. Dude, it's okay. let them have the pop off. It's fine.
Yeah.
And it's such a low stakes environment. People getting so miffed about Commander always like kind of drives me up the wall.
I ran into a player at Cool Stuff Con a couple weeks ago. This is the first time I've seen a salty player, like a legit salty player in a long time. We were playing on a game and one dude is playing that Griffin commander, the one that's like whenever a Griffin hits somebody, you make like a 2/2 flying Griffin. Yeah. And it just makes Griffins. And he just played some like convoke board wipe that kills all the things that weren't convoked. And then he untapped and not Coat of Arms. What's the one from Bloomborough? Banner
of Kinship.
Yeah. And then he's like, nobody interacted with me. I have like 14 dudes out. I'm going to just do a ton of damage. And then a guy was like, I thought this was bracket 2. And it's like, man, he's playing. I don't even know the name of this card. What's the stupid Griffin called?
This Heron Gale, the Golden Wind. It's something the Golden Wind. Golden Gale. I forgot the name of it. Hang on.
Yeah.
Yep. Zeriam, Golden Wind.
There we go. Like, I'm like, bro, he said he's playing Griffins. like this is bracket 2, dude. Like,
yeah, it's like a creature cheese deck. Like it's not a bad commander, and maybe if it's like super optimized, it's bracket 3, but like it's like it is like a Griffin deck. Come on.
He casts like a 9-mana board wipe.
it's the one that like destroy all non-token creatures, right?
The one that convokes and then it destroys all creatures that aren't a type that convoked it.
Yeah, the one that blows up artifacts too.
Everything comes to dust. It's from Dr. Who.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything comes to dust.
Interesting.
Cool card. Also perfectly fine in bracket 2, by the way. It's 10 mana.
Quite a lot of things are okay in bracket 2 in principle.
I mean, this one I think is also okay bracket 2 in practice.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like anything super crazy.
No, he didn't even have enough to kill the whole table or whatever. He just took out one dude.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even that much power.
I think going back to the idea of kind of the person who's popping off, it sort of depends a little. Like if a player is truly popping off for the first time with a given deck, especially if this is like, they're a newer player, this is like one of the first times they're really having a great game, that is lovely. I wish them a great experience with that, and I'll happily kind of watch them. Some players really gravitate toward decks that tend to do that as a concept. Like if there's a Teshar player who has a deck that always wants to take 10-minute turns, and they play that deck over and over again, and they have the pop-off turn. They get to that full pop-off point like every other game. At what point is there a line at which, like, maybe that's something people should do a little bit less?
I think this has to do with the conversation with, like, understanding, like, table power level and dynamics and stuff. Like, if you have a deck that goes off super hard and super quickly and it always does the thing that, like, destroys the game, maybe that's an argument that this is, like, a stronger deck that maybe doesn't belong at this table with these other decks that we all want to play tonight, right?
But what if it doesn't always do the thing? What if it's a, like, complete feast or famine deck? Like, one that really needs its commander And when you have your commander, you super mega ultra pop off. And when you don't have your commander, if it gets hit by the counter spell and then Doomblade and you're just gonzo and you do nothing the whole game and have no fun.
I mean, that's something you're opting into. I want to make that very clear, right? With the Feast or Famine deck.
No, so you as the player building the deck are opting into that. But when I sit down at the table, I might, not be opting into that. So game 1, they have none of the fun. So then game 2, are they allowed to have all of the fun?
No.
Is it less fun to play a 3-player game than a 4-player game?
Generally, I think so.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So does that have anything to do with the morality of playing Feast or Famine decks?
Well, I guess it's not a true it's not a
Just
true 3-player game because they had to get shut down, right? Like they're always going to attempt to go for the thing, but then if I hit them with a counter spell, they're like, okay, well now it's over.
Yeah, you do. There is a removal check aspect
Mhm,
that player brings to the game and like a dynamic, and you still have to attack and kill them. It's another 40 points that you have to deal with before you are a winner, right? So
Let's say a player runs too few lands because they want to draw a lot of gas on the games that they're up and going. What do you think about this player?
honest to God, so long as this player isn't going like, dude, I cannot fucking get a break tonight. Oh my gosh, why are you destroying my thing for the 5th time? I'm fine. You're allowed to shoot yourself in the foot as much as you want. Just don't make it my problem,
Yeah, I guess if you play 7 lands and you're just like, I'm going to hope to draw exactly these 7 ones in my opening hand and then gas for the rest of the game, and you know that and you understand that, and then sure, I respect it. I think this is the problem with like Feast or Famine decks in Commander, because if we have the notion that Casual ADH is a zero-sum game, the person that's doing all the things, taking all the actions, is having all of the fun, then when you build a deck that either does all the fun or none of the fun, you kind of lean into that pretty heavy and it leads to bad experiences.
Yeah, well, I think also what I was getting at my kind of cutesy thought experiment I was alluding to is if somebody has a deck that is like extremely Feast or Famine, extremely inconsistent, that might on average produce worse games because the game isn't going to feel like it has 4 players. It's going to feel like it has 3 players and then like this automaton that like sometimes like gets a jolt of electricity and bursts to life and does some things, but then falls off a cliff after that. I think in practice, I'm not going to be, super judging the morality of people who make extremely inconsistent decks, but I do think it is kind of interesting to think about how that might produce less fun games if your opponents don't make a deck that's consistent.
So here's my question then. Do you guys think that the total fun is sort of like zero sum in that regard, where if somebody's doing a lot of game actions and playing a lot of things and then quickly wins, do they take all of the fun?
So I think that depends on, broadly I would say no, but I think it really depends. I think if you have a whole bunch of players who really, really like a Storm style deck, like a deck that's just like taken its 10-minute turns, then it might feel like that because there's only so much time. And if one person is taking a 10-minute turn, that means another person is not taking a 10-minute turn. However, there are lots of other types of deck where I don't think it feels nearly as much like that, right? Like a control deck, a politics deck, things where you're going to be paying more attention to what your opponents are doing, even when you're not actively taking game actions.
Yeah, like a control deck has a lot more uptime because you're thinking about every spell that enters the stack for your counter spell, right? Even though you're not actually taking that much more time, you have a lot more agency over the game for a longer period of time.
Yes, which I think is why control is really fun. Okay, here's an idea. What if someone is doing all the game actions, they're doing all the things, they're popping off, they're winning, but it takes time because they're still building a casual deck, and another player is completely, utterly, blissfully ignorant of that. So imagine we're playing at a pod and there's a very new player, and then I have a Rhystic Study and a Smothering Tithe in play. And little Timmy, who's joined us, does not know what those cards do, could not care less what they do, and is just doing their thing, completely oblivious to the fact that they are absolutely, completely out of the game. Does that change the zero-sum factor?
On one hand, yes. On the other hand, like I've been less and less into policing what opponents are doing in my games. Like if someone wants to feed the Rhystic Study player, honestly, low-key my fault for not having enchantment destruction. Your opponents are variables. In my opinion, what makes a fun deck for me, I don't want to say like, you need to do this. This is what makes a deck fun for me, is that I am entirely internally consistent and I am able to create a game that I like with like either stacks effects or removal or any combination thereof, where I can consistently get the game I want from my deck because I just like have these like insane toolbox lines and etc. So like honestly, if I'm in that situation, it's because I failed in some way. And also on top of this, the little Timmy example is very obvious, but I feel like in real life, these sorts of things are not very obvious. Someone feeding a heuristic study really hard or doing this, you don't know what's in their hand. And I think typically backseat gaming is a great way to sour the mood at a table. So I don't know. I've been always very cautious whenever I maybe try to explain it, but
I don't know. I feel like with the heuristic study, it's like usually kind of easy to tell when somebody's never seen the card before or when they know what they're doing, I guess.
yeah, but when it comes to things like, oh, you had this removal spell, why didn't you blow that up instead of this? This is a lot more efficient. It's like, I don't know. This can become like a really in the weeds sort of thing. Like the heuristic study example is very obvious,
Sure.
but in real life, in an actual game of Commander, it's a lot more subtle than that, I feel.
Well, I mean, yes, exactly. Because I said heuristic study and smothering tide to make my,
Yeah.
example very, very obvious. But like, yeah, there's a lot of times where, I'm playing a deck that's kind of weird or something. I have to like anti-politics and be like, hey, you need to blow up my thing because it's really, really busted.
Yeah.
Because most people just haven't seen the card before.
Yeah.
So there is like a possibility that you could be completely unaware of something that is very threatening.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're talking about is definitely like a table conversation thing. It's the kind of thing that's solved through communication. I mean, was your question like if somebody is having fun and thinks they might have a chance at winning, but they truly do not? Does that impact the equation? Is that what you were kind of getting at?
Yes. Does that impact the equation? Because in theory, they should be having no fun because they know they're not going to win and they're definitely losing. But if they don't know that,
I mean, does winning have to be the only way to fun?
Yeah, exactly. That too.
perhaps facing greatly increasing insurmountable odds is unfun.
Yeah, I think the unfun comes when you're on a timeline that feels like it's going too long, when the game should have ended and it has not, and you're just kind of gradually getting smushed.
Yes. Which I think a lot of casual decks kind of do when they're like just like a value pile sometimes.
Yeah.
But my question is for this equation, because we kind of started with this premise of like the fun in EDH being zero sum, meaning there's like a set amount and someone can take all of it. If you just don't know that you're losing, which normally would take away your fun, have we cheated? Have we increased the amount of fun?
The only way to have more fun is to be infinitely more stupid about how you play Magic the Gathering. I've seen the line now.
Honestly, that's a vision. That's a vision. Okay, here's a question. I want to go back to something you said, Elk. You mentioned that you like to come to games and have your deck produce the game that your deck wants to produce. And I think that reminded me of kind of this analogy that gets brought up where a lot of Commander games are more like a Euro game compared to more 60 card formats, because everybody is kind of building up their own resources. Like, this person has chosen the Gizmo plan, is gathering up all the Gizmo cards, and this person has chosen the Goat plan, is gathering up all the Goat cards. Like, everybody has chosen their own like path and they're doing it kind of independently. I've heard that analogy given to kind of low interaction, low politics, mid-rangey Commander games, synergy pile Commander games. Is that fun?
Oh.
Is that?
Are we maximizing fun if there's no interaction of any kind?
Yeah, two ships passing in the night.
Everyone just plays their thing, and whoever hits the win con first wins, and they have like that little bit of extra fun at the last turn, but everyone had equal fun leading up to that.
To me, this sounds like the worst hell to ever be in. I would never want to play in this game, but I'm not going to dictate what is fun for whoever's hearing this. Right, that might be an idea of what is fun to someone else. In which case, I would say like play Castles of Mad King Ludwig or something. Right, like I would play a board game. Magic is a game about interaction to me. That's like one of the major things that makes this game so beautiful.
Yeah.
So like these two ships passing in the night, right? I just like, I don't know, that isn't that fun. I'm watching you like accrue victory points over there, and there's nothing I can do about it besides try to accrue my victory points faster. And I don't know. I like touching my opponent's cards and blowing them up.
Crusty hooves all over them.
That's very much my kind of take on things, and I kind of Eurogame type things that I like tend to be ones that have more thoughtful ways of interacting with opponents, or that have more like collaborative mechanics, etc. I just find it interesting because I feel like this is such a ingrained idea of how Commander works to a lot of people, of every deck is kind of doing its own thing, especially for the people who don't like removal as much. Because there's a question of how fun is a counter spell? How fun is it when somebody says no to what you're doing. I think if you're the one doing the thing, I think the easy answer is not fun. But what is the alternative to that?
Yeah, because I think the intrinsic problem with the no removal game, right, is, let's say it's again us three and little Timmy playing a pod. If Elk has a deck that is consistently faster than ours, Elk wins 100% of the time, right? And in theory, although not all of the fun comes from winning, we are still attempting to win in some capacity, right? Even if I play a board game casually,
Yeah.
I'm trying to win.
I think a perfect
right?
commander game is where everyone has a very good threatening position at some point in the game, and then it like ekes out at the end for just one player, right?
Exactly. So like if you are in, the only way to not win by going faster than somebody is by slowing them down, right? Because the other option is to, I can just, combo one turn earlier. But if everybody's doing that, it's just everyone's on some sort of ultra turbo combo deck and there's no interaction. It wouldn't be a very interesting game.
I also find it fun when decks are very different from one another for precisely this reason.
Yes.
Like I think it's fun to have like the unstoppable freight train of value alongside the aggro deck that's trying to deliver a bunch of beat early, alongside the kind of more generic go wide deck, alongside the deck that has like all these unique kind of interactive tools. I think it's fun to see these different things come out and different phases of the game favor different players just kind of innately, because I think it is ideal when that gets created, when one person has the advantage and then another and then another. I think that is what leads to the best commander game. But I think when decks are different, that tends to encourage that even more efficiently than just like when it happens to happen with a mid-range deck. Bunch of mid-range decks.
Okay, I want to ask one more question about this zero sum thing. We don't have to end this conversation after that question if you don't want to, but I had one that I was interested in, and is how can we add more currency to this equation? Is there a way we can increase the fun that everyone's having?
Require all players to run at least 10 instants in their deck.
That's a good one. I like that one.
That is actually a really good one.
I disagree a little bit. Of course, that you're joking, but I do think there is some amount of sorcery speed stuff like stacks pieces that can fill the role of instants like that. So anything that like makes you think over the course of the long term, but also I think of like shoe in like real answer here. Talk about your decks before you play. You don't have to get into specifics or anything if you want to keep a little secret or whatever to surprise people during the game with. But overall, like, here's the pace of the deck. Here's the turn I end up winning by typically. I tend to knock out every player at the same time with how I win. Okay, great, let's go. The closer the decks are in power level with like explosive, like horrible punch down matchups like Farrakha would be against like a Reanimator deck, for instance, because she's Graveyard Hay in the command zone. The closer you can get to that ideal, where like everyone's playing a deck and none of the decks hard counter another deck and they all have an equal shot in this sort of enclosed space, the closer I think you are to having a perfect commander game where everyone's kind of threatening to win. Everyone's like removing each other's things because they're all running efficient removal that's all on the same power level. All of these things add up after you have a good conversation about your decks. And honestly, if you want that consistently, recommend getting a play group that like gets together pretty consistently because you at least know what the playing field is, right?
I actually love when I'm playing in the wild and I like give like a handful of words to describe my deck and then somebody references that later, like, oh, you got the control deck over there. I see. Yeah, I got to keep an eye on that. Or, oh, you got the Voltron game plan cooking up there. I see. Like, I think it's good when your opponents are kind of, they know what's coming ish and they're kind of keeping an eye on it and staying engaged.
Yeah, I love that you guys gave completely different answers to me, because when I was thinking about this question, I was thinking about like cards you can add or like gameplay things you can do. Whereas you guys talk more about like rule zero or deck construction. I was going to say like politics cards are really, really great ways to increase the fun or shift the fun around if it is truly zero sum. If I'm playing a game and little Timmy seems like, damn, they got nothing going on. They're going to take 100 damage next turn. What are they going to do? And then I cast like a scheming symmetry and it's like, hey, little Timmy, you get to tutor up a board wipe and like do something and like contribute and like, play a card next turn. Or a Wishclaw Talisman is another great one for this. If you play it, in a politics sort of context, you can use these to like involve other people in deals And then they're like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And then they get a little bit of value, you get a little bit of value, and then they put that value towards the archenemy, and it actually can shift the dynamic pretty well. Love politics cards.
I will say for the scheming symmetry example in particular, I feel like it's a little bit of a dick move to be, because it doesn't even draw the cards. So you're like, fuck up your next draw, you're getting a board wipe.
Well, I mean, it's a vamp tutor, so unless I have a cantrip, I can't like.
God, it's great and all that you build horrible decks where people are like always giving you back the Wishclaw Talisman. Whenever I give away a Wishclaw Talisman, I have to win that turn or else they're gonna shoot me in the head. Like,
well, yeah, that's why like you don't just put like one random politics card. Like, I mean, like construct a deck with like politics at the forefront, like in mind. This happens all the time. I see people play like Secret Rendezvous and crap like that, where they're not like a politics deck and they're just like, oh, here, Khan, you have 3 cards. I'm like, cool, I'm Drago control. You've just lost the game, buddy. Like, this isn't gonna work out for you. And then that's their only effect like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, like legit, like lock in some political ideas, and playing a politics deck, I think, is one of the best ways to even out the amount of fun in a game.
I definitely agree. I think the handful of political cards I run in my Rada deck prevent it from being like this absolute I take endless turns, you have no fun monstrosity. Like whenever I get to creative technique in that deck, I'm so excited. All the demonstrate cards are great. I'd love to be able to say to my opponent who's struggling a little bit, hey, I have a gift for you. Go find a card. Or go see what you spin into. That's a good time.
yeah, I mean, this is like the core behind why I built Farrakha as well, is because of how fun it is to interact with opponents' graveyards, A, but also B, being able to go like, oh, I see the player attacking you with like the draw card on combat damage thing. Whatever. Okay, here, have a snake with death touch. You can block now. You're welcome. It's fun.
Especially if it's an instant speed. I think I was, I made the joke of, require everybody to run 10 instants, but I think that is genuinely, I think it is quite good when people are running more things that keep them clued into what's going on in the game. I think that reduces the Eurogame elements of it. Even when they're not necessarily like strictly removal spells, still just having things you can play on an opponent's turn and where the timing matters a little bit, I think could be really good for staying engaged and feeling like you're playing a multiplayer game.
Yeah, that's why I like to say interaction is what you need to have a lot of in your deck, not removal, right? Because removal is part of interaction, but interaction is a lot of things, right? It could be a heroic intervention or something. And like you holding that up keeps you engaged and has you going, oh, should I pop it right here? Should I use it, there? Should I maybe save it to play another creature? Blah, blah, blah,
Have you found some prisoners, like a top deck tutor?
No, I've never played that card before, so no.
Oh, it's 1 in a red for an instant. It destroys target artifact, or you can exile the top 3 cards of target opponent's library and you get to choose one to cast with any mana.
Oh, I didn't realize it was target opponent. That's fun.
Yeah, so if they vamp tutor or something and put something on top of their library, you can go 1 in a red, just shoot it off the top.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Which you can do with the scheming symmetry. Little Timmy never had a chance to draw that board wipe. You're going to cast it.
Not a lot of what people do with scheming symmetry is they try and break the parity on it by futzing with their opponent's library.
Yeah, you have like Wan Shi Tong or something.
Yes. Yeah, it is fun to break parity with that. Yeah, I think a good politics deck is one that has ways to break parity so that you can just use your cards for value when it's just a 1v1, or like if you don't want to give any value out. But like, you always have the option. That's the thing. Is like,
yeah, the classic Corvello Wishclaw Talisman, and then tutor up worst fears, and then control your tutor with the worst fears, right? Because I'm controlling your turn.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's kind of funny when I'm playing decks that relinquish a little bit of control over the game state and just kind of play things that will statistically be good for me, but won't always, and just see what happens. I think there's something kind of enjoyable about that.
There is something fun about drawing, like playing like a forced draw deck or something where you're trying to like make them draw out, but you're not milling. You're just like filling their hand with crap.
That's what a Forest does.
Yes.
Forest has a Bumbleflower with fogs.
Yeah, and he just like force draws people. Yeah.
I've been meaning to add perch protection to Safara, not because it's good. It might be a little good, but like I'm mostly adding it just because I think the words gift and extra turn is really funny.
Yeah.
It is.
And it like loosely fits the flying theme.
It is really funny.
I have really thought about building like a force draw deck. Because Kami of the Crescent Moon, I just love the secret layer art for it.
I think Force Draw in particular doesn't appeal to me that much, just because I feel like drawing cards is really, really good in EDH.
Yeah.
It is, which is why it's like such a challenge to make a control deck with it like actually function, because usually giving your opponents cards is like the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, I remember really back early on in Magic, this was before Shieldred came out, I was really toying around with Sizen, Perverter of Truth as a deck, because I found it really funny to give my opponents like a Night's Whisper on their upkeep. Like this is the classic like Master of the Feast kind of card, right? Where it like draws your opponent's extra cards, but it's a funny idiot. Right.
It is a funny idiot.
It's a 5-mana 6/5. It's above rate.
I know, iconic.
It's a beater right there.
I mean, now you have Shieldred and stuff, so this archetype isn't that like insane, but it is really funny.
Yeah, but I feel like all the good versions of this are just like wheels.
Yeah, that's
Because that's how you make your opponent draw cards without actually giving them advantage. Is just like constantly, which like. Wheels are chaos adjacent. Change
they
my mind.
are. Yeah.
I mean, they are. Well, you see, this is why I want to play Kami. Is like mono blue. You don't get access to Shieldred. You don't get access to like the red burn effects. You get like way less wheels.
Yeah.
You have Windfall, I guess, but like that's kind of it in terms of like good ones. Because the other ones that shuffle everything back in doesn't actually mill them out or anything, so you can't really play those.
Oh, is this a deck that's trying to mill them out?
I thought that was the goal. Is you give them all the cards and then they run out.
Yeah,
It's just bad mill.
I saw a really funny card recently from M12 called Monomania. It's 5 black mana for a sorcery where they choose one card in their hand and then discard the rest.
Can you just play Wit's End to make them discard their whole hand for the same mana cost?
Yeah. But like, I
Wit's
think
End
it's
is
more
7 mana.
expensive.
Oh, it's 7 mana?
But the joke here is like, I would love a wheel, since we're on the topic of wheels, that does this, where you get to like pick 2 cards to keep, and then the rest get wheeled.
And then you Windfall the rest, like you discard that and then draw those?
Yeah,
number?
basically.
You know what? Wit's End is still better because they misspelled pathetic in the flavor text, which is funny.
I'm seeing that now.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
Pathetic.
he's suddenly very Irish, Nicol Bolas.
Irish Nicol Bolas.
Your pathetic ideas. Oh, that's cool.
So a better card. All right. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about Magic being a zero-sum game?
I just like decks that take short turns. They're fun.
Make sure you're playing with some people that steal as much of the fun as you do, like steal an equal amount. If you're all playing with equal power level decks and you go as hard as possible to try and take all the fun, it's mathematically likely that you're going to end up with 25% your even share of fun.
Yeah, if everyone plays interaction, it's so that nobody can pop off super early, then everyone will have a time playing the game.
Precisely.
Here's a hot take.
Okay.
Everyone in D&D should be required to play martial classes so they don't take 20 minutes figuring out what spell to cast.
Okay, that's user error. I will defend spellcasters here. That is user error.
Yeah, just pay attention. Read. I don't know. All right. Moving on to the Beseeched the Mirror section. This is where you beseech us for answers. All you got to do is put mirror in your comment here on YouTube or on Spotify, or you can tag us on socials with your mirror question, and we might get to it on the podcast. I feel like if people watched the Wheel Tomer episode from last week, they know that we definitely skip a lot of these.
Yeah.
Not Joe 4 numbers asks, mirror, I eat my ham sandwich to avoid going infinite to ask when a specific non-commander card makes you want to build a deck around it. And there aren't really substitutes for the effect. How do you do it? I think Civ 6 would make a hidden commander. I feel like we've had this exact question. Am I crazy?
I'm literally about to post a video answering this question in like 2 days.
Oh, I don't want to actually answer this question. I want to say, do you guys have a fun card that you want to build around in the 99? Just like one we haven't talked about before that you would enjoy putting in a specific deck.
Okay, that I haven't put in a deck before.
Yeah.
Okay, I understood the question. I should have thrown another spicy.
For me, it's Counterbalance. I've never actually put Counterbalance like in a deck. And Power Balance too for that.
The blue brother of Power Balance. I was considering putting in Kinesis. And the reason is that I haven't is because most of my things in Kinesis are like 9 mana sea monsters. But inversely, that kind of makes it cooler if I like counter your like Dragon Storm, or like Dragon Storm's a bad example. That's a storm card, but like your Grozoth or something with my like random ass Kraken off the top of my deck. Like
I was just gonna say I am about to finish my deck that has Echo Storm as a major card, and I'm very excited to cast that.
What? Sorry, what card? What was
Echo
that?
Storm, the Commander Storm copy and artifact.
Oh, This card's cool.
Gosh, for me it's really tough because there's like so many cards I'm constantly thinking about forever. And the issue is that most of the cards that I typically build around are commanders just by accident, but I just don't put them in the command zone. I guess my answer will be Overwhelming Splendor.
Is that the curse?
That's the curse. I want like a white curses deck where I get like Overwhelming Splendor is like the beautiful top end that just ruins your life.
Just play humility, like a real
It's a one-sided humility, Con.
Yeah, for one, talk about this is sucking the fun away from
No,
one
not
person.
with Chico and Narset, Con. With Chico and Narset, you get 2 of them. Copy
That is awesome.
Copy enchantment, you get 3. All of your opponents are humilityed.
So you've just built humility.
Oh, one-sided humility. My creatures are fine. All 9 of them that are in this
I
perspective
mean,
deck.
it should be one-sided. Just build your deck around it.
No, the card's just so cool. Though.
Good.
That is cool. I love it. I'm poking fun, but I love it. Icarus Games 4 numbers asks, Mirror, mirror, I riffle shuffle my unsleeved deck to deal emotional damage to my opponents to ask, how do you feel about keywords that are better versions of others, like Scry to Surveil, Shroud to Hexproof? Are there any you would improve?
Okay, first things first, Scry and Surveil are not strictly better than one another. Surveil does have
Correct.
more use case. Like a card in your graveyard is basically like half a card in your hand.
It's generally better, yeah.
Yeah, but like there's some instances where I would rather be scrying something. That being said, I am generally not a fan of the new fixed versions of mechanics that we've been getting. So like, for example, Sneak and Ninjutsu, Mayhem and Madness, Cascade and Discover. Right, these new keywords, in my opinion, do backwards compatibility horribly, like so bad. You have all these cards that care about ninjutsu specifically. Well, those don't trigger when you do sneak stuff. Oh, what about these cards that care about cascading, like Averna the Chaos Bloom? They don't care about Discover. I do not like the newer fixed versions of these mechanics because of this horrible backwards compatibility kind of issue that they create. I don't know if I have a mechanic I would fix, really.
Yeah, Discover and Cascade is kind of like that too.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish they'd just like stopped printing Cascade forever. They print Cascade and Discover now because we live in the worst timeline.
I agree. I actually don't like these as well because I'm of the opinion that I feel like we have enough new mechanics. Like we should be revisiting old mechanics way more often, you know? Like, especially because we're jumping from like one plane to another and there's no like blocks or whatever anymore. We go to a new world, it has sneak, you know, or mayhem or whatever, right? And then we jump to a new world and then it has another new mechanic. I feel like if we had blocks, this effect wouldn't be felt as much because we would get like more of one. So we get like so many new ones. I think other worlds can have mayhem. Can we have mayhem in other worlds?
Alex has his head fucking tilted back, like moaning in pleasure right now that you're mentioning blocks, by the way.
I love
Just
me
like
some blocks. Give them to me.
But like, you know, like we have spacecraft in like one set and we're not going to see it again till Star Trek and then till who knows, right?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Yeah. Why not? Like, but that, you know, that's going to be forever from now. So it's just like, we have too many of these and it's confusing for new players, especially when they're so close. Like Shroud and Hexproof already confuses new players. And I promise you, Discover and Cascade also confuses new players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's maybe.
I don't know. It's tough. Give me random putting on the bottom of Hideaway again. Make it not any order. Make it random again. Or not vice versa. Make it any order again, not random. That's my mechanic change hot take.
Did they change it to be
Yes, with Streets of New Capenna, Hideaway became random at the bottom of your library instead of in any order.
Why?
Fuck Grenzo players, I guess. You used to run the red and black
It's too.
lands and Grenzo decks so you could like stack the bottom of your library, but now it's random.
Mark Rosewater has talked about this on his podcast like a while ago when they like made this change. And the reason a lot of cards do this now is they say like Impulse, you know, would say put it on the bottom in any order. New versions of that effect don't do that. And the reason is to reduce cognitive load on players. Because in theory, if you know what the bottom 4 cards of your deck are, you can think about it. You could even play to that out, or, you know, it's something that sits in the back of your mind.
Yeah, God, why would we want depth? Terrible.
No, I get that.
And the idea is to reduce as much of that as possible. I'm not saying that that's like a great reason to change it or blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just saying that's the reason why they did it, or at least according to Mark Rosewater.
I think it's a lot more that this is a lot of words that aren't real that cover up the fact that it's for Arena, right? It's annoying on a digital client to put the cards on the bottom in any order. So they have it just do it randomly because you don't have to do like separate clicking for that. And personally, when I was playing Hearthstone still, there was a set called Voyage to the Sunken City. I forgot what it was exactly called, but one of the mechanics was dredge, and it let you look at the bottom 3 cards of your library and put one on top of your deck. You would know what the other bottom 2 cards of your library were, and you could literally think about it as like a second hand for your future dredge cards. It was super cool. That was a lot of fun, and I'm so sad that that's not in Magic.
Ham is good 12 asks, Mirror Mirror, I rotate snail 90 degrees to ask, what is your favorite 3-color combination that includes green and why? And then someone replied to that. DJ Lukewarm24 replies and says, Mirror Mirror, I cast Return the Favor, copying the ability to ask, what is Elk's favorite 3-color combo that includes white? So not us, just you, Elk.
Okay.
And then Demos Thanes 995 asks, I cast Narcissus Reversal and copy it to ask, what is Khan's favorite color combo, including red, and why? And nobody asked Snail a third question.
Okay, well, we're gonna save some time here because my favorite 3-color combo with green is also my favorite 3-color combo with white. It's Bant. I love Bant. Can't get enough.
And we'll save some time here because my favorite 3-color combo with actually.
Nope, you still gotta have one with green.
No.
And I know your favorite one doesn't have green in it, pal.
Green. Yeah, my favorite 3-color combo is Grixis. Are these green 3-color combos cool? What's your favorite green 3-color combo, Alex?
I don't know. Naya, maybe.
You know what? I'm
Naya's
going
kinda
to
fun.
say Naya as well. I don't think I've ever built a Naya deck, and I
Naya's
probably
a
never
good
will.
choice.
But there are cool Naya cards.
3 colors is too many.
Yeah, my problem is I never want to add a color to my Gruul deck. Like, I love my Gruul deck. I love Mean Undead.
It's really weird because I do think Naya, Grixis, and Bant are like up there as my like top 3 favorite color combos. So it's really funny that we all answered those in some regard. And I find it a little perturbing that none of my favorite color combos are like any of the Tarkir wedges.
Even though you love Tarkir?
No, I don't really particularly like Tarkir, but like also, I don't know. I'd figure I'd like one wedge kind of commander, but I don't really. I mostly just like the shards.
I just think Naya gets like the coolest cards, but I never want to put, there's never like a commander I want. Like Godsire is so cool. This is one of the coolest Magic cards ever printed. And there's no commander that like makes me go, yeah, let's do
Naya has
that.
some fucking cool commanders, by the way. Like once you get past all the dinosaurs and stuff, like I like Rocco Street Chef a lot as like cast from exile stuff. Even Rocco Cabaretti Caterer is a lot of fun. Both of the Roccos are cool.
Rocco's not bad.
I like Marisi. Marisi is like a goad deck. Toscana.
I like Oboon. Oboon is fun.
Oboon's really cool.
Every so often I get tempted to build OTJ Gired, the one that lets your creatures tap to copy tokens.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't built it yet, but
yeah, original Gired's cool as fuck too. They're both awesome. There's one called Mazzy True Sword Paladin, and this was one I considered as a curse deck.
Yes, that card is actually good.
Because she works with curses. She works with any aura.
Yeah, I built a Mazzy deck for a friend of mine, like a budget deck for him to start with. And man, that deck put in so much work. It was really cool. And nobody plays this card. Like all the randos we played against would be like, what the hell are you doing? And it would pop off all the time.
My 2-headed giant goat Gahiji's in Naya. That guy's cool. Gahiji's awesome.
Kahiji.
I never want to put Gahiji in the command zone. Maybe I should.
Would be like
I
a
don't
fun
know.
little tokens deck. I don't know. It's cute. And then also like you can do like a goading thing, right? Where they get, I don't know. Trumpet Blast isn't that much anymore, but
yeah, that's the problem. Like I love Goad and there are Goad commanders, but they're not like, they don't really have enough oomph.
I do also want to shout out Rien, Angel of Rebirth. This commander is legitimately like 10 or like 5 to 10 more multicolor bombs away from being like a real good sneak attack commander. Because unlike Liesa, who's the white black version of this effect, right? But it doesn't do multicolored creatures. It just any creature that dies that you control goes back into your hand. Rien, if you have a multicolor creature die, you have red and you can sneak attack them out and then hit them and then they go back into your hand to get sneak attacked again.
Yeah, that is pretty sweet. Oh, I have played a Naya deck. I built Marisi Breaker of the Coil once.
Yeah, Marisi's awesome.
I totally forgot about
Marisi's
that.
fine.
I built it as a Sunforger deck. And because my meta at the time was like really, really, really heavy blue. So what I would do is I would just move to combat, not attack, but unequip Sunforger to uncounterably boil and destroy all the islands.
Oh my god. That's
Oh, that's so vile.
So dumb. I love
Man, I completely forgot about that deck. That deck was awesome. Look, there were like 2 Talran players in my play group. Like it was necessary.
Islands are banned.
Oh yeah, I fought the islands so
Oh,
hard.
original Minskin Boo, not new Minskin Boo, but like the original Minsk creature, not the Planeswalker. That one's a really cool Naya commander.
It was a CDH list from for like a minute.
It's a Naya sack outlet, so you throw Protean Hulk, you make it a 0/0 because you can X 0 on things.
He's too slow these days, but
He's so cool.
all right, is that a podcast?
It's a pretty